Okay, step up to the mic and ask away.
Well, I'm here, so I'm going to go ahead. Assalamu alaikum. My question was about the equality, the discussion that we just had, and it was very enlightening. The impression that I got is that rights is one thing and how it's supposed to be is another thing. And when we talk about how women should be treated, that's what we heard more. What I wanted to ask, and I don't want anybody to read anything into my question. My question is, there are certain differences between men and women, and they should be treated as differences and not as equality versus inequality. And would you like to say something on that?
Okay, your first question on equality between men and women. You're saying that we talked more about the rights that we have?
What I'm saying is that most of the time the discussion is about equality versus inequality, whereas the way I see it, it should be about the differences. It's not about being equal or not equal. We have certain roles in the society, and women are better at certain things and men are better at certain things.
You're so right in that, and I agree with you totally. What we actually addressed was the rights that were given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and that were practiced by the Prophet at the time of the Prophet and continued up to the present day for colonial reasons, and because the Muslim world was colonized by a lot of foreign influence that had almost erased all the ideological rights that the women had, by erasing even the educational curricula related to Islam and Islamic rights. The attitudes there turned more cultural and more secularized than one would have liked. And that is why these rights were forgotten. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had already given those rights to women. Now, for the men to accept that these rights are there is one thing, and for them to give those rights is another thing. So we would like for the men to accept that the rights are there and start giving them to women. And of course, women themselves have to change the way they perceive of themselves. And I did write about that both in Arabic and English, about the low self-esteem that women have of themselves because they feel that they are actually locked up in a gender role that was dictated, as you say, by society. That they're better at things in some ways than the men, and the men are better in their own way, in their own roles. But we would like to have, with a lot of caution, I'm saying that, we would like to have an integration of gender roles without losing the gender identity, which is a man is a man and a woman is a woman. And a woman cannot work as a truck driver or as a street worker or as this or as that. There are certain jobs that our dignity as Muslims and our femininity will not allow, and these are respected and reserved by the values and the rights of Islam. If you're talking about that, I agree with you. But at the same time, women have the right to go there and exercise as much intellectualism and professionalism in society as men. The fact that they're better at nursing or teaching does not exclude them from being doctors and engineers. Do you see what I'm saying? They have the right to tap those resources as well, and they're not made for men exclusively. So there has to be some kind of equality in exercising those rights, not in adopting a male-female reversed gender role type, just like the gays and lesbians are doing. We're not doing that. Right. We're not asking that we change the genders that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. We want them to be as they are. But what we're trying to do is to implement the rights that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us and change the minds, the way people think of each other, and the way women think of themselves, and the way men are thinking of women. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, actually it does. The reason I asked the question was I did not want any women or men to leave with the wrong impression, because you did a good job of explaining the equalities and all those rights, but there are certain differences. And when you go out and you talk to somebody who's determined to bash Islam, those are the things they talk about. So it is always good to discuss those differences of opinion inside
But
a
the
gathering like this one. That's why
we
I brought it
already
up.
are so conscious of those differences that we've actually abused our rights. And we have condemned women to a corner that they cannot come out of. They are actually locked up in a prison of the home, and they're even locked up intellectually, and they'll continue dreaming of wanting to achieve things that they'll never achieve because of some kind of a psychological holdback, you see. And we need them to get out of this. We need them to overcome these deficiencies in their characters and just feel maybe as equal as non-Muslim women in the way that they achieve things. I'm sorry to say that, but our women are so far behind in the area of professionalism. They're so scared, most of them, to go out there with their hijabs. And I'm actually enticing all the brothers to encourage sisters that are in hijab to go out there and work and do things that are good for them and their characters. Once they've done their wife duties and their motherhood duties and they have done rearing jobs and they have time to contribute to society, there's no reason why they should be locked up in the homes. There's no reason whatsoever. So we're saying protect those muhajjaba women, not to offend anyone that is not without hijab, but it's actually those women that feel so low about themselves. And they need to be out there building back their self-esteem because they've become so scared of everything that they cannot do anything except cook and have kids. You see what I'm saying? I hope, inshallah, everybody understands that and that we have not gone out of Islam or anything.
Come to the microphone.